The Peanuts. Can you believe that it's been 75 years since that little comic strip first appeared, and now it's become a global phenomenon?
Kinda really hard to process, but then again, I do have this Charlie Brown doll and this Snoopy hand puppet, so what can you do?
Since the first comic strip in 1950, Peanuts has become a worldwide sensation, and I think its most popular forms of entertainment have come from the TV specials that have been broadcast since the first one, A Charlie Brown Christmas, was broadcast in 1965. The specials themselves have become synonymous with the holidays, to the point of them being parodied in other TV shows and movies.
But as the comics started to wane in popularity in the 80s and 90s, so too did the specials, with the worst one being It's the Girl in the Red Truck, Charlie Brown, which was basically just a Roger Rabbit wannabe. And it wasn't even about Charlie Brown, it was about Snoopy's older brother, Spike.
But in 1993, the Peanuts did something that they had never done before, and still haven't to this day. Collaborate with the National Football League. What culminated was You're in the Super Bowl, Charlie Brown.
The special aired on the NBC network on January 18th, about 2 weeks before Super Bowl 28 also aired on NBC. What a coincidence. And not only is that surprising, but what's also surprising is this was released on VHS. Do people even know what a VHS is nowadays? People used to record movies on this.
And not only that, this VHS release is the only home media release to date, and it was only released likely because Shell sponsored the NFL, and since they were running a sale where you could buy Peanuts tapes in their gas stations, it made sense. Now, considering the rarity of some VHS tapes, you may think that this tape has a lot of value to it, like it's some rare gem. I paid 99 cents for mine.
But enough about me yapping, and on to the watching. This is You're in the Super Bowl, Charlie Brown. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta go put this tape in.
So after finding a copy of it online, we start off with something that's unheard of in Peanuts.
Hey there, sports fans. Here's the world-famous coach.
That's right. Adult voices in a Peanuts cartoon.
Now, to be fair, this isn't the first time that the Peanuts featured adults, with one notable instance being the miniseries This Is America, Charlie Brown, where the gang interacted with historical figures, or in the animated versions of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and Snoopy the Musical, where Snoopy was voiced by an adult.
Not bad at all.
And don't worry, we'll get to those eventually. So it starts off where Snoopy plays as a coach for the Philadelphia Eagles, and his team are a bunch of Woodstock birds.
Oh, I get it.
Oh, and don't think the animal puns stop there, because the announcer has a field day with them.
Ferocious felines, crafty cats, cagey cats, doggone if those mighty mutts, those hardy hounds. Well, maybe pigs can't fly, but pigskin sure can.
So Coach Snoopy gives a play-by-play rundown of the game to his team, of which will determine the champions of the AFL, or as the announcer puts it,
Animal Football League.
So the team makes it out to the field, and their first opponents are cats.
I'm guessing that these cats are the Cincinnati Bengals, but given the uniforms that they're wearing, it's giving me more of Detroit Lions vibes.
Well, either way, after Snoopy juices up the team with illegally acquired steroids, the Woodstock team wins to a staggering 38-0, with the team dousing Snoopy with a refreshing product placement beverage. After the game, we cut to a familiar scene of Lucy wanting Charlie Brown to kick the football and,
I'll hold the ball and you come running up and kick it.
You need a glass of water, Lucy.
Anyway, as Charlie Brown is about to do his usual shtick,
By golly, this time I'm gonna kick that ball clear to the moon. Hey, stop!
in a surprising move, Peppermint Patty runs up to announce that there's going to be a punt, pass, kick contest. And what's the prize?
First prize is a new bicycle and a trip to the Super Bowl.
Well, hot damn! A bicycle and a trip to the biggest sporting event in the world. It's like winning an ice cream cone and the most expensive Barbie to date.
So, as the kids discuss the contest, Charlie Brown has something in mind.
Here, let's see that. Arg!
That scream was pathetic. Learn from the masters.
So the gang begins practicing their throws, and a mysterious, static girl looks on in the distance. And she just keeps watching. planning every move for Charlie Brown and Linus's demise. But it turns out that her name is Melody, and she kind of looks like an early version of Frida, another Peanuts character.
When in doubt, recycle your characters.
Charlie Brown and Linus warm up to her, and after they go together to an ice cream shop, a love triangle forms, and now they're not only playing for the bicycle and a trip to the Super Bowl, but also Melody's affection, despite them only meeting her for 5 minutes.
Also, watch how Linus snaps his fingers when he orders those hot fudge sundaes. Damn, Linus is such a player.
But the plot stops to a grinding halt because we now go back to another game with Woodstock's team against dogs. Now, I was trying to figure out what this dog team was referencing, and frankly, I really couldn't put my finger on it. But it doesn't matter because the Woodstock team wins once again thanks to recycled animation and Snoopy juicing up the team so they can win the championship for the nth time in a row. And with every subsequent game, the score goes higher and higher, but Coach Snoopy's integrity gets lower. And finally, we're back at the actual story, where the punt, pass, kick contest is happening.
It's like the writers realized that the main story wouldn't fit a 25-minute special, so they decided to create a filler story where a football team wins every game they ever play. Shameful.
As Linus and Charlie Brown get ready for the contest, they both hope that Melody is watching them so that they can win her heart.
I don't know. A trip to the Super Bowl sounds much more interesting.
So, Lucy is first to go, and despite the fact that she makes fun of Charlie Brown for not being able to kick the football, she can't kick for shit. Other kids go, and each punt and throw gets subsequently longer, but the official's face gets bluer and bluer. Linus gets the farthest out of all the gang, but then...
I get to go to the Super Bowl!
And our last contestant, Miss Melody.
But it turns out that Melody was playing the two boys all along, and not only does she punt and kick the farthest, but she also wins the bicycle and the trip to the Super Bowl. So, after receiving the prizes from the adult-sounding official, even though he looks like he's 12, Melody rides off in the distance, but not before uttering this line.
So long, Linus! Watch me on TV!
And after that major roast, we finally get to the championship game of the Animal Football League, and the Woodstock team faces off against a team of bison, most likely the Buffalo Bills.
Now, before we continue on, I want to bring something up. You think with this final game that the Woodstock team would face some sort of challenge, an inconvenience that maybe that once they win, they would have a victory that is much more well-deserved.
Nope, they just barrel through the team, continue to recycle the animation, and the team wins an astounding 62-0. But during this time, Lucy begins to give advice on how to better coach the team.
They're too big for you, Coach. And your game plan is all wrong.
But the thing is, she's actually right. Lucy knows the dangers of football. She didn't just see concussion. She knows about the advanced dementia and Alzheimer's that retired pro footballers face. So whenever Lucy swipes the football away from Charlie Brown, she's subtly telling him not to pursue football, because she knows that Charlie Brown will get dementia at 40 if he wants to play football. She knows the facts.
But nope, let's just ignore her and dump a bunch of product placement on her. Yeah, the Eagles win! Integrity loses! And don't forget outdated references!
Where's the beef? They're running after Fillmore.
Never would I have thought in a million years that a Peanut special would say, "Where's the beef?" I wonder how that would sound in other specials.
Sure, Charlie Brown. I can tell you what Christmas is all about. Lights, please.
Where's the beef?
So, Charlie Brown and Linus lament the loss of their love after realizing that she played the two of them. But Charlie Brown reassures Linus that it's important to trust others before Lucy comes up to Charlie Brown, ready for him to kick the football.
So, how was this special? You can skip it, really.
It's a huge filler special, and there's plenty of other better sports-related specials, like Charlie Brown's All-Stars and You're a Good Sport, Charlie Brown, which have way better story and characters. This special just feels like the NFL was the plot and not part of the plot, and it feels like a lot more time was focused on, hey, know these teams?
And while it is kind of cool to see old NFL logos for teams that no longer exist, I would have rather wanted to have some sort of full-fledged story rather than two subplots being told side by side. Now, if you'll excuse me, I gotta get my VHS out of the PS3.